So I've been hearing my buddies talk about grinding 2K a shit ton lately, and it's really gotten me thinking about how the game has the longevity that it does. I mean, the last 2K came out almost a year ago, the new one's coming out in like a week, but people are still grinding the shit out of the current one. So what gives? What is the appeal to this old ass game? Well, in my opinion, the answer is pretty much MyPlayer and MyPark. 2K easily has the deepest MyPlayer or career mode experience of any sports game on the market. If we look at Madden, that's just a straight up linear story mode, which I guess is fine for what it is if you're into that stuff. MLB is pretty much just a player locked franchise mode with some slight changes that give you, a little more control over your career, and a semi-story which is pretty much a meaningless documentary style of choices. And then you look at 2K and it's just leagues ahead of these two. Firstly, it has a story which is usually somewhat entertaining, even if it is pretty bad. It's at least funny, and the cutscenes are skippable, so whatever, doesn't really matter there. But where things really shine are Park, Pro-Am, and customization. Now, the actual NBA basketball playing parts of my career are, entertaining at least, but they almost feel like the backdrop to what the true fun of the mode is, which is the park and the neighborhood, along with Pro-Am. Now, the actual games are perfectly fine, there's nothing wrong with them, but these other modes add a whole new layer of depth that no sports game is replicated to this day. You and your boys could hop on with your own beastly characters and just pulverize other people and their players. And the game has so many archetypes and customization options that everyone feels completely different and unique. I mean, there's so many ways you can make your guy look. You can buy dope shoes, clothes, pimp out your court, which is basically an apartment, hairstyles, everything. And it just feels like there's a really noticeable progression as you go from a rookie to an absolute monster, because of all these things you could do to personalize your experience. And you know what? When you think about it, it's fucking genius. And the game has a nice reward and progression system in these modes too, with exclusive rewards for leveling up, just a general increase in status inside the game itself. It's a really well put together system, and it's no wonder that so many people obsess over 2K, even though it does feel like the same shit every year. So what does this have to do with MLB The Show? Well, the answer's simple. It's exactly what they should do. Here we are entering another console generation, and Road to the Show is just an okay, slightly boring player-locked franchise mode, and the improvements from MLB The Show 10 to 20 are not exactly what I'd call groundbreaking or astounding. Going into a new gen, where the game is opening up to all consoles, they have to do something to draw people in, other than the fact that it's a baseball game, which many have not been able to play for years. And no, RBI Baseball doesn't count, it's complete shit. It's time to revamp Road to the Show, and the best way to do that is to have some kind of park game mode and a lot more customization. Now with baseball, it's a little harder to pull off a mode like this considering there are 9 people on the field at any point in time, and trying to connect 2 full teams would be a lag and latency issue filled nightmare, so the best thing to do in this situation is to think simple and dumb it down a bit. We could start with a Sandlot mode with, instantly a classic name, where they limit the amount of players on each team. Let's just say, for example, 2 outfielders, 3 infielders, no catcher, and a pitcher. 6 players per team is a lot more doable than 9, but it's still a lot, but definitely more possible. Also, you have to look at what a player would do if they're sitting on the bench, watching their team hit. Well, if that's the case, put in a feature where they could yell insults and try to distract the pitcher, steal gum from someone else's bag, spit seeds f***ing everywhere, flirt with hot moms in the stands. It doesn't really matter, just get creative with it. Now, if this Sandlot idea is not doable, why not something like a wiffle ball mode, which would require even less players and have a nice nostalgic backyard feel to it. Either one of these would be sick and would add some extra incentive to play the mode. Now for customization, we're going to need some more of that stuff too. The archetypes currently in the game are perfectly fine, but it doesn't really make any sense to have them in a single player mode that doesn't require balancing, but having a multiplayer mode would actually make them useful. So, if they do add a multiplayer component, add some more archetypes to mix things up. And also, if you've noticed in the quote-unquote cutscenes, for some reason every player dresses like an old man going on his yearly golfing retreat with his old buddies from high school to get away from their miserable home lives. It's like they're forgetting that there's actual young players in the league that don't wear polo shirts and khakis every day. Let us rock some Gucci, Yeezy, Louis Vuitton shit. It's no secret that MLB players make absolute bank, And in this game, there's just nothing really to spend it on and no reason to get that bank. Your character is essentially an empty husk, devoid of any personality or material possessions, who literally lives in the clubhouse and the bus or plane that you're traveling on. Let us buy some cool shit like a Tesla, invest in a pyramid scheme, or maybe some horse testosterone off the deep web. Anything to actually have a chance to personalize your player. Right now, as it is, it's just way too bare bones and needs some more stuff to spice it up, or people are just going to keep losing interest. Because that's what happens when you don't innovate at all. Hey, and I know it's kind of early for these wishlist type videos, but it's already September and somehow you got to get these ideas out there, so I decided screw it, why not start early? So what do you guys think about these ideas for how to improve Road to the Show, and what would you personally suggest to improve the game mode? And also, what console are you guys getting MLB 21 on? From what we've heard previously in the news, it should be on the Xbox and Switch as well as the PS5. And honestly I'm not 100% sure yet. Probably leaning PS5, but I gotta admit, MLB on the Switch would be pretty dope. And as always, if you guys enjoyed the video, be sure to leave a like and subscribe for more content. And thank you so much for watching. Stay safe out there, guys. Peace out.